Hey!
What's going on?
Since we're doing it looks like we adapted a fancier set and we've got like a big screen TV behind us.
That's what it is, man. It's a giant big screen TV. We're gonna actually start showing clips from the movies that we've seen.
I think we're the only current movie review show that doesn't do that, honestly.
Pretty much.
It's like, and then check out this clip here.
Look at this shit.
See, look, here's what I'm talking about. We just continuously have the trailer playing in the background and everything.
Yeah.
Since this isn't actually, it would be funny if I just put like a cheap, like just picture-in-picture effect just behind us.
Like
I'm not gonna do that.
You do the poster. That's what you do. The poster. That's what you should start doing.
It looks like it's just the thumbnail.
So we saw this movie right here.
It looks like it's just the thumbnail, but no, it's there through the whole video.
Oh, Jesus.
How much of the about this did you know going into it?
I basically read the synopsis.
Uh-huh.
So it was basically the synopsis, because we saw Brigsby Bear.
Yeah.
The synopsis that they put in the movie was a boy's, like, his childhood show ends, so he sets out to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yes!
Technically.
But it is so much more fucked up than that.
I'll tell you this right away, because, like, we're gonna get... You should... If you're planning on going to see this, which I really highly recommend this movie, honestly. So, if you just want to see just whether or not we recommend this, I do,
yeah. It's a fun flick. It's weird. It's one of those indie... Definitely an indie flick, but it has a lot of heart in it, and...
Yeah, if I suggest, because I went into this like you, I hadn't seen any trailers for this movie or anything, really any still shots. I mean, other than I'd seen the poster online and on the movie site. So honestly, you should really go into this really knowing nothing about it, because. Man, because the only thing that I knew about this movie was the same thing that you did, because I looked at the same plot synopsis of it. And when this movie starts, that's, you know, that's kind of what it feels like. It's, who's the lead in this movie?
Kyle Mooney?
Kyle Mooney.
Yeah, he was actually also the writer of the movie. Yeah. He wrote this. And then...
and he's a guy who's obsessed with what looks like an 80s children's show, and that is what it looked like, because I was like, oh, this looks kind of familiar to some stuff I remember as a kid. Like the theme song started playing, I'm like, man, this feels like Winnie the Pooh, like the Winnie the Pooh theme song. Like when it first started, I was like, man, I feel like that would be kind of a copyright right there, but... Dude, it reminded me of, I was like, oh, this is bringing back some memories. This reminds me of being a kid and watching Dumbo's Circus.
Oh. Or like Teddy Ruxpin.
Yes.
I got a Teddy... Yeah. There was a definite Teddy Ruxpin vibe off of it.
Oh, well, when it gets deeper into, like, things that happen in this show, this Brigsby Bear show, it feels a lot more like they made an entire series out of that Too Smart for Strangers thing with Winnie the Pooh. So he's obsessed with this show. He knows everything about it. His bedroom is decked out and all this Brigsby Bear things, and he goes online and has chats and does vlogs where he's talking about it. His parents are Mark Hamill and who was the woman?
She's from Hung. She's to the internet. God damn it. She's in a lot of stuff. Character actor.
Now there was one thing I wasn't, because
Jane Addams. Okay. Jane Addams is the mom.
There was one thing I wasn't expecting to think of in going into this movie, and in the first 5 or 10 minutes, the thought came into my head of, wait, is this post-apocalyptic?
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, this is going in some... this is getting wildly unpredictable. Fuck. So you find out that they live underground, and there's this plastic
like a biodome thing covering them.
A biodome thing covering them. he and Mark Hamill are sitting outside talking about Brigsby Bear, and there's like a fake fox out there, and like fake bees flying around. Like, damn. I mean, I was already enjoying the fact that, like, I went into this not blind, but like enough to where I was like, okay, I'm really enjoying the ride that this is taking me on here.
This is getting weird, but in a good way.
Yeah, and you find out that, no, it's not post-apocalyptic or anything like that. You find out that as an infant, he was kidnapped by Mark Hamill and Jane Addams, and they're immediately arrested, and he goes back to live, because he's been missing for 25 years, he goes back to live with his real parents, and this whole Brigsby Bear show was not any kind of, like, national or even public access series. It was a show that was created by and written and acted by Mark Hamill to
appease and teach his son. I mean, it was like a warped Sesame Street.
Yeah. Right.
Well, the other great thing is his entire existence he's lived with like 80s chic. So like he never knows anything other than like VHS, 80s clothes, cassettes, but doesn't really have any music. Basically, his parents create all this stuff. Like it looked like he was working on an old Apple II.
Yeah,
and talking to on a forum, a closed circuit forum that his parents commented back on. I mean, they set up this whole elaborate world.
Yeah.
But he was basically stuck in the 80s, so he comes out, it's, 2017, and now he's got to deal with all this, got to deal with living in this world that you never knew really existed because you thought everybody was dead.
Right. Yeah, and so he's got to adapt back into that, but he doesn't harbor any anger or anything like that towards these two people who were, in his point of view, his parents. They didn't abuse him or anything like that. Like, he doesn't have any hostility or anger towards that.
I mean, they were weird.
Well, yeah, certainly.
But they were very loving. It wasn't like they were, they raised him like their son. They loved him and taught him. I mean, he's smart. Like, he's very intelligent, but he's
socially awkward.
Oh yeah. I mean, he spent the last 25 years living basically with the people he thought were his parents, and
underground.
Underground. No other real human contact until the police come. So
he's still obsessed with this show to the point to where he actually wants to finish it, and in doing that, he wants to make his own movie version of Brigsby Bear. So he starts studying up on movies, how to make movies, what goes into it, what all you need to make a micro-budgeted movie like the one he's doing, and he gets a bunch of people who are also really into this show too. Man, this is a really original movie. Like, God, it'd be like if I lived in... It'd be like if I lived in the Truman Show and found out Tequila and Bonetti didn't really exist, and I'm the only one who saw it. Although, I think for about 20 years I was the only one who'd seen that show. So, they all he gets, like, his sister in on this, and her friends, and Greg Kinnear is one of the detectives who was in charge of this case. He gets him in on this because they kind of see how important this show is to him and how endearing it is. And Matt Walsh is his birth dad and says, like, something like, isn't this a little fucked up because this was the show that was created by his kidnappers that kind of kept him secluded?
Yeah, I was trying to appease him to keep him docile so he didn't question authority and stuff. Like, and that was some of the episodes were like, don't question authority, and
don't let curiosity get the best of you.
Curiosity is a terrible thing to have.
Hey kids, let's rap about curiosity. So, but at the same time, it's like, well, that is really kind of the only thing he knows. This is clearly very important to him to finish this. So after a while, they're like, hey, why not? And hell, he even goes to see Mark Hamill in prison to get his voice for the show. And watching all this, I'm like, they're making this work. They're making this plot line work, and all these things that are, by all accounts, kind of fucked up. This is a well-written enough movie to where I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand why this guy doesn't have any hostility towards Mark Hamill. I understand why, like, he's going into the visitor center to record his voice to narrate this show. Mark Hamill in this movie is like the most likable kidnapper I've ever seen in a film.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy. It's two good people that did a terrible thing.
Yeah.
They know they did a terrible thing, but even doing a terrible thing, they try to make it right throughout his life. They like we said, they don't torture him. They don't abuse him. They take really good care of him. He just has no social interaction. But they teach him. He's homeschooled. I mean, and each of the episodes, there was a very advanced math problem they were teaching at the end of this episode, because they use these episodes to teach him more advanced math. So I mean, he's a smart guy. But yeah, and it's the thing too. It's like, for 25 years, that's what he knew. Yeah. So I mean, and it's the movie doesn't take place over a long period of time. No, not really. So maybe after a while he might start to be like, well, this was wrong and that was. But during the time this movie is taking place, that's his parents. I mean, that's who raised him. And so I can understand him not being like, oh, well, I do too, because it's not. He was abducted as an infant. Right. He would not, like when he was 12 or anything like that. Like when he was a baby, for his whole life, these have been his parents. Which means they were filming those things from the time of his birth. Because at the time the movie starts, it's volume 25, which is his 25th year. So basically, Hamill's been doing these since his birth. Hey, all great shows have to start out somewhere. Mystery Science Theater started out on KTMA. That's true. Well, and the thing, and it doesn't just jump right into... They understand completely. The kids are a lot more pliable than the parents are, which kind of mirrors real life. The younger you are, the more open you are to different things, strange things that you're not used to. So his sister and their friends really take to him a lot quicker than his parents do. His parents are trying to fit him into this mold of normalcy, which he's not going to be able to do because he never lived a normal life. And they're trying to shoehorn into this as much as possible and try and be these, real loving parents that you kind of get the idea that they're a little more dysfunctional than they let on. Their daughter's kind of a little rebellious, but not terrible. And
also the kids too would be quicker to understand his enjoyment of something like Brigsby Bear.
Right, and it's one of those so bad it's good type things. Yeah. And I can completely see how people take to it. It's like, this is really bad, but it's fun to watch because of how it's made.
It's sort of how, us and people younger than us would get some humor out of something like Cool Cat Saves the Kids, but it would be odd for, my parents or grandparents to sit through that.
Or anything you can see, the weird stuff. Television now is in my opinion, so much weirder than it used to be when we were kids. It was a lot more straightforward.
I love the fake movies within the movie in this. There's a part where his dad takes him to the movie theater, and there's what was the poster for that cop movie? It was a cop partnered with a dog movie, and it was called Detective for Hire. 4 is F-U-R. Like, I want to see that. And then the fake movie they were watching was, it was like it looked like a Mighty Ducks type thing about, like...
Cross with Bad News Bears.
Yes, cross with Bad News Bears, because it was... This fake movie within the movie was Tim Heidecker leading a ragtag team of street hockey players, and they find this one player's like, hey, why'd you run? You need to be on our team. Turns around, take off the helmet. It's a girl! Like, I've seen this movie many times.
Shit.
Oh, sweet. They remade Little Giants, but about hockey.
Oh, man.
I got a kick out of that.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. It was, but it is a movie that, like most movies, like... I hesitate to say most movies like this, because I really haven't seen this kind of movie very often, but this is a really original film, honestly. Like, but in movies... where you have a character who's certainly very obsessed with a show or a movie or just movie making in general, to the point to where in this he's got an amateur crew together, he figures out how to make an explosion and stuff like that. It really is, throughout all the fucked up shit in this movie, a plot that involves a kidnapping, being reintroduced into society. All of this kind of comes together through the love of movies and through the love of television and movie making. Yeah. And it's genuine. It feels really, really genuine about it.
Yeah, I mean, the more people get behind him, the more he kind of starts to come out of his shell so much. He starts to learn how to have these real friends, you know. They go hang out and they film this movie together.
Yeah.
They become friends. It's a mutual love of just something that, I mean, it's weird, but everyone gets behind it. They all like it, so they can get behind it and share that common bond. This thing is fun to watch. It's fun to make. Yeah,
it would be fun making something like that. And it's the movie is really kind of a modern day Being There. Like, I remember that with Peter Sellers. A little. Like, somebody who was, like Chauncey Gardner, obsessed with television, and then goes back out into society. And even in this, there is like a weird thing that happens at the end. I mean, the main character doesn't walk on the water at the end of it, but there is like this little kind of odd thing that kind of happens at the end of the movie that was nice, that was kind of cool. When that happened, I was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of like a modern day Being There. I really like that about this movie. It feels like I said, like, I mean, we see a lot of movies a year, and hell, I see a lot of movies a week. I loved sitting through this. Like, I didn't know where this was going. It didn't feel like something that I'd seen a million times before. It feels like a really unique film. Like, you should definitely go see this. It's gonna be unlike anything you'll see this year, or like unlike anything you've seen in a while, in a long while.
I like into this. It's really easy to get jaded with seeing, like, especially like in the summer, jaded seeing, oh, this is this. Oh, here's another big action flick. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of refreshing to see a movie like this come along.
Yeah.
It's not a big budget movie. Two,
no.
it's pretty grounded in reality. Even the most out there stuff in this movie, it's not like it's like, oh, that would never happen. You know, it's a lot of things coming together that probably are implausible, but it's not like they're impossible. But it's nice to see these smaller movies. It kind of refreshes, recharges the batteries.
If anything, I like the fact that, like, going to see a movie like this, I get a different set of trailers than I.
Well, yeah, you get all the indie trailers in front of this one.
There was There's a pretty good one coming out with there's a good looking one coming out with Willem Dafoe. That looked pretty good.
Oh yeah,
one
the
at the
Florida,
hotel.
the Florida Project.
Yeah, that looked pretty good. And then there was one, and you know what? Like, this movie might be pretty good. Maybe, I don't know. But like, we got a trailer for one with Armie Hammer that looked like just a stereotype of every independent art film ever made.
Yeah. You had the foreign country, the young guy, the blossoming sexuality, the older gentleman coming in. Yeah, it was...
I was like, is this a parody? Like, I mean, I didn't actually think it was a parody, but it's like, yeah, I was like, this looks like... what's the name of this movie? Not another independent movie. Like, I forget what it was. It was called something like Call Me by
My Name.
That was
or Now You Call Me by My Name or something.
That sounds like a spaghetti western title.
Yeah,
I've seen this movie. Lee Van Cleef was awesome in it.
Nice.
I highly recommend this. This was a fun sit.
It is.
It was a fun sit. It's by far and away going to be one of the more unique movies I've seen this year.
Yeah.
And it was funny. It was sweet. It had a lot of heart to it. The acting was solid. It's got a good ensemble cast. I would like to see what kind of movies these guys do next.
Yeah, because I was very surprised, like, when I saw, like, the Lonely Island header, I was like, this is gonna get really just goofy, you know, Hot Rod type shit.
It's not Hot Rod.
It's not. And
I didn't even know it was a Lonely Island movie until that credit popped up at the beginning of the film.
Well, and then Andy Samberg shows up.
Yeah,
most of the way through the movie in like a little cameo role. Nothing big, but
nothing huge. But he pops up.
But it was funny in its awkwardness.
Yeah.
It wasn't it knew it was going to get laughs because of the awkward situation that the main character was put into.
Yeah.
But it wasn't going out of its way to make these jokes. It was natural.
It's not a Happy Madison movie.
No. You know, everything that you laugh at is just situational. It's not like, oh, we meant that for to be a joke and we want you to laugh. You know, you may not laugh at these things. You may laugh, but they give you that option. They don't say, oh, this isn't a gag. I mean, it's real life. The situation this character is going through are real, and it's funny at times. It's very poignant at others, because he has to go to therapy, and they're trying again. The therapist is trying to reconcile his life into this new life and saying, you have to give up all this, you have to give up. Basically, she's trying to tell him, you have to give up your entire identity for the past 25 years and create something completely new. Fuck, man. Without being facetious about it. She genuinely thinks you can just do that.
Yeah, you gotta give up on this Brigsby Bear stuff.
Yeah, it's like, that's his whole life. It's not like he can just turn it off. And and then when his parents, well, first they institutionalize him for a little bit because...
It's okay, he escapes by throwing a television through a window.
Yeah, he's like, it's a really elaborate plan. Television set out the window. That was
really funny.
You know, it is funny, but not being like stupid funny. I mean, it was very genuinely funny.
There's no like weird montage of the big escape plan.
Yeah, right.
Going through the mental institution.
Yeah, that would what I would expect from another like a Lonely Island comedy. But
any final thoughts about the movie?
I liked it. It has like I said, it had a lot of heart, which I've seen a lot of good movies that are big budget explosion type movies. I mean, they're not bad, but it's nice to see something different like this. Just kind of for a change of pace. And
yeah, I mean, there are some great movies that are playing now. Like you and I were at Detroit, which I fucking loved.
Asshole commenters.
Right. This Brigsby Bear is just pro-movie making propaganda.
This social justice warrior man thinks kidnapping is cool.
So, like, Detroit, which is definitely a movie I highly recommend, but I get if you're not in the mood to see that.
No,
It's a fucking disturbing.
yeah.
It's a disturbing ass movie. This one, it's just a nice, sweet little film.
Yeah.
So I totally recommend it. Dave and I are going to be at Wind River, I believe, tomorrow. And there'll be some stuff that we're through. We got a couple of reviews. We got a review for Leap, and we got a review for Friend Request up on Patreon right now. And those are going to be coming up later on in the week. So until then, watch the clip.
Watch right here. No.